Solitons shot consciousness-minded abstract. All the material presented in this thesis as well as author's implications prove that a living organism can be perceived as a complex electronic device similar to the technical devices, whereas a biological material as components of electronic devices. These arguments allow to state that the biological system can be considered to be a quantum computer that functions on the basis of entangled quantum states and optoelectronic phenomena. Melanin and neuromelanin are implicated in the central control of all biological, physiological, and psychological processes. Numerous modular communication systems and signaling pathways that transmit signals into the cell are generated under the influence of light. Melanin and neuromelanin function as a multi-receptor of full range of electromagnetic, acoustic soliton waves, torsion fields, and bioplasma, which does not receive so much information the senses, but it receives it constantly. The role of photoreceptors, receptors of hearing and touch, is limited to a single reception of the stimulus, whereas melanin and neuromelanin play an integrative function, combining stimulus elements in the one whole, namely movement with space and time, sound with light, space and time. From the psychological point of view, melanin and neuromelanin would be responsible for the entire process of adaptation to the environment, mental development, the development of attention and perceptual experience, which, together with an increase of melanin and neuromelanin, acquire better sharpness and quality. Bioplasma controls these processes. Bioelectronics model its role in the perception and mental processes. L. Bertalanffy formulated the concept of a living organism as an open system that collects and gives material substance and maintains a constant value of relationships in terms of bulk, continuous variation of material components, energy and information in a continuous flow between the body and the surrounding environment. Therefore, the principal feature of the living world is organization of structures filled with mass and energy into information carrier. Information is in fact defined as the ability to organize the system or maintain it in an organized state, while the energy is defined as the ability to perform the work. Human life is not just a matter of biology and biochemistry, but also provides the structure cybernetic information and bioelectronics, which has an impact on health, disease, and human behavior. This bioelectronic structure creates Homo electronicus with its electronic personality. In this new bioelectronics paradigm, one can notice quantum psychology and human cognition in terms of quantum processes occurring in the biological system, which is understood as a bioelectronics device that processes, stores, and manages information. Quantum individual is the same individual as anatomical and physiological one, only living in the world of quantum dimension. In addition to the traditional, well-known biochemical reactions occurring in living organisms, a new reality is opened for science that functions on the basis of a model of bioelectronics life. This model shows that the same particles that constitute the molecular substrate of biochemical reactions are also a manufacturer of biological structures, such as proteins, melanin, nucleic acids, bones, etc., which are an electronic material having piezoelectric, pyroelectric, ferroelectric, and semiconductor properties. Apart from using biochemical channels, a human biological system, in order to transfer information, uses electromagnetic, caustic, Solitons waves, electric, electromagnetic, and torsion fields, as well as bioplasma. This communication does not only apply in biological processes, but also in all mental functions. Control of the human biological system is accomplished by a grid of information channels: electron, photon, phonons, soliton, spin, ionic, and bioplasma. Each of these channels may in itself be a carrier of information to a biological system, or it can function as a team in the bioplasma system. The biochemical model explains the complex mechanisms of mental life seems to be correct. The transmission from inanimate matter to living matter cannot be explained. He still cannot explain the nature of consciousness and the transition from inanimate matter to living one. Where is the threshold, and what is the role of biochemical processes, inconsistency of soma and consciousness, as well as in building a mental structure? The author supports the thesis that the nature of mental processes is inexplicable as far as interactions of biochemical processes are concerned, and it is much easier to describe it in the light of quantum processes. Bioelectronics properties of biological structures. Studies on the electronic properties of biological structures in the various research centers have shown piezoelectricity for amino acids, proteins, collagen, keratin, elastin, actin, myosin. In living organisms, and beyond piezoelectric and pyroelectrics, also the existence of biological semiconductors was found. Semiconductors occurs in materials with an ordered internal structure, such as crystals. Have claimed on the basis of their research that the collagen at the water content of 10% shows electron conduction. In addition, there is also the proton and ionic conductivity. Also, the semiconductors with their properties and photoconductivity included in nucleic acids were studied. Carried out conductivity measurements on dry nucleic acids. The size of the activation energy they received ranged from 2.5 eV to 2.7 eV. Liang and Skalko demonstrated the phenomenon of photoconductivity in the DNA and adenosine. Thermal energy activation of photoconductivity ranged from 0.90 eV to 1.18 eV. Semiconductors, amino acids, proteins, muscle fibers were also demonstrated. With the semiconductor properties of proteins and melanin, electrons can travel over long distances without losing energy. Ion currents expire at short distances because the ions are much larger than electrons. In semiconductors, the electron energy of the protein would be preserved and passed on as information. In terms of bioelectronics, the background of biocommunication in human biological system may be an electromagnetic wave, electronic and acoustic, the latter resulting from biological piezoelectric electrostriction. Piezoelectric phenomenon concerns the change of mechanical energy into electrical energy, together with the development of electricity is accompanied by an electric field. Piezoelectric placed in alternating electric field is deformed by generating an acoustic wave. This phenomenon is referred to as electrostriction or quantum acoustic effect. The ability of piezoelectric crystals to polarize at the expense of mechanical interaction and ability to deform at the expense of electric fields allows to consider them in the category of electromechanical transducers. Piezoelectric properties were acquired by each body at the moment of its creation on Earth, and they are required to run bioelectronics processes that are necessary for the functioning of the organism. These processes occur throughout the body, but are especially noticeable in the following systems: cardiovascular, musculoskeletal while walking and gymnastics, breathing mechanoreceptors, baroreception, sense of hearing, as well as during sexual arousal, etc. Among these systems, or senses, the stimulating role is played by the mechanical energy, hydrostatic and acoustic, which polarizes biological piezoelectric, and thus become carriers of information in the form of electrical field, and the acoustic wave for the biological system carried out the detailed measurements of the piezoelectric effects in the long bones of people while walking and the mechanical leaning, which generate the electric field. This field is needed for the body to activate the enzyme function and communication, right perceptual experience in the brain, synthesize the melanin, integrate the biological unit in the hierarchy of cell tissue organism, ecosystem. High-speed information transfer in living organisms proves that coordination at various levels of biological complexity requires minimal media energy requirements and more information. Physical electronic properties of melanin in the human biological system. Melanin, in terms of electronic and physical examination, is characterized by the following features: donor-acceptor properties, ability to proton conductivity, the ability to absorb all wavelengths of light, photoconductor and semiconductor properties of amorphous, increased resistance to light and ultraviolet light, generation of electrons and photons, large demand for oxygen, selective vulnerability to phonons. This means that cells with melanin are selectively vulnerable to acoustic waves. Can function as a sensor in the phonons and photons, the reverse process. They also have the ability to convert the electromagnetic wave into the spin fields in which solitons responsible for unconscious states are. Condensed conversion of light into sound. Phonon-photon provides information to the organism not only for biological processes, but especially the mental processes, as in synesthesia, winter blues, and the process of adaptation to the environment in ADHD, etc. Exhibits paramagnetic properties of melanin. Shows photoconductivity melanin. Melanin is a semiconductor, which allows you to make the transformation of light into electricity. Melanin is also considered as a transmitter of electromagnetic energy. Melanin is piezoelectric under the influence of alternating electric field, produces acoustic wave. In addition, all of melanin biodiversity based on physical properties such as absorption, the disappearance of light and sound, the binding of organic chemicals, storage of liquids and gases. Light and electric field are the most important factors in regulating the biosynthesis of melanin. The absence of these factors results in the biosynthesis of melatonin. Melanin reduces the amount of free radicals in biological system unit. The most important feature of melanin is its ability to absorb light as well as to absorb, retain, store, and regenerate energy. Moreover, melanin protects against oxidative stress by eliminating reactive free radicals peroxyl, hydroxyl, quenching of singlet oxygen, and by excited states. Melanin has the intensified concentration of bioplasma as well as it plays an integrative role. In the sphere of sensory perception, melanin combines stimulus elements into one whole, namely movement with space and time, sound with light, space, and time. Moreover, melanin directs the perception of the size of objects, their arrangement in space. It determines the size, length, location, form, direction, depth, and movement of an object. Thanks to melanin, one can experience the present and the future, whereas thanks to melatonin, the past and the present. Melanin and neuromelanin would be responsible for the entire process of adaptation to the environment, mental development, the development of attention and perceptual experience, which, together with an increase of melanin and neuromelanin, acquire better sharpness and quality. Melanin is strongly correlated with melatonin. The disorder of this correlation leads to different psychiatric dysfunctions. This fact is visible in such disorders as anorexia, winter depression, child hyperactivity, and in various diseases such as phenylketonuria, Parkinson's disease, etc. Thanks to melanin and melatonin, sensory organs, apart from their ability to integrate sensory information, can form a coherent picture. Melatonin provides information about the time of a day and the time of a year for each tissue. Melatonin functions as an internal clock. It measures the time for a seasonal phenomenon as well as for processes of adaptation and development, such as adolescence. Melatonin activates sexual desire and directs the process of pregnancy, etc. Melanin is a piezoelectric semiconductor, and this property allows it to transform different kinds of energy into connected with the electric field electric energy. Interaction of the electric field on the piezoelectric causes electrostriction, which triggers phonons that are acoustic wave. The biological system possesses transducers such as a transducer converting electromagnetic energy into an electric signal, a transducer converting thermal energy into electric energy, a transducer converting mechanical energy into electric energy, and vice versa, a transducer converting acoustic energy into an electric signal. The biological system in different ways provides itself with the appropriate density of bioplasma state, thanks to which melanin combines a wide range of fields and elementary particles. The brain does not show us the length of the electromagnetic wave, but it gives the impression of a specific hue, as auditory sense changes density of the acoustic wave into the sound impression. These processes are possible thanks to bioplasma located in melanin and neuromelanin. It is bioplasma that is responsible for processing perceptive impressions. Melanin contains two types of free radical centers. The first type is permanent, and the experimental conditions the level of free radicals cannot be reduced in it. Probably, the free radicals are created during the synthesis of melanin and they are captured within the polymer. The concentration of the second type of free radical centers depends on many factors such as light, temperature, pH, presence of metal ion or the paramagnetic and diamagnetic metal ions, or some oxidants or reductors. Free radicals are of great importance for the biological system, yet they have a negative influence on the aging process. Free radicals are any atoms, molecules, or ions that have a single unpaired electron in an outer shell. They are chemically active, so they oxidize each compound during the process of connecting or losing an electron. Therefore, free radicals have a huge chemical reactivity on other particles. They attack mainly those compounds that have double bonds in their particles, such as proteins, DNA, or unsaturated fatty acids that are included in cell membranes, polysaccharides, lipids, and cholesterol found in blood. As a result of this process, electrons generate free radicals that attack other substances. Free radicals play an important role in the process of imprinting information to the nucleus. Free radicals, and precisely radical reactions, are able to change the arrangement of nuclear spins as well as to record permanently information in the nucleus. This information is then included within the biological structure. So far, it has been claimed that this record can be done only by strong magnetic fields. Free radicals are also responsible for creating quantum states of entangled particles, atoms, or informative structures and images produced in bioplasma of melanin and neuromelanin. The change of nuclear spins is connected with the change of density of torsion and Solitons fields that are responsible for the nature of mental processes. Entanglement is a phenomenon in which the properties of two or more objects are connected in such a way that one object cannot be adequately described without considering the other. This leads to a correlation between the physical properties of objects even if these objects are at different distances. This phenomenon is known in the scientific world as the EPR paradox. The phenomenon of quantum entanglement can occur in a variety of microworld objects. This happens immediately, however, the distance between them is not taken into consideration at all. For example, when two electrons are entangled, the change of quantum state on one of them causes the same change on the second. The first electron is given in state on purpose, whereas the second is given a corresponding BN state. Thus, one physicist knows that another physicist sent them information regardless of the distance between them. Now let's imagine two quantum computers, which memory is composed of entangled electrons. In such a case, these computers can send any data and the connection between them is immediate. In my opinion, the galactic internet will work in such a way. Why are the tangled clouds of atoms needed for a human biological system? First of all, they create the acts of consciousness. Then, they save and convert data in a bioquantum computer as well as they transfer the data via the biological internet. Teleportation allows to send quantum information saved in the form of the system state system, whereas the dense coding can increase the channel capacity thanks to the exchange of quantum information. Since teleportation scheme can be extended to multiple qubits, it is possible to transmit in this way the longer message. During the process of photoreception, light enters the iris filled with melanin. According to the author, entangled quantum states are used in sensory perception, especially in the sense of sight as well as in the formation of the act of consciousness. Through annihilation process, free radicals can break entangled quantum states. This fact can influence the changed states of consciousness, e.g., while taking drugs. The electron-positron annihilation process releases reduction of charges and the light impulse. Solitons light that generates images on an electromagnetic wave and then transmits them to consciousness is produced while reducing quantum entangled state in bioplasma. Solitons images can include human emotional states, thoughts, or patterns of behavior in the form of archetypes. Free radicals are activated in melanin and they change the arrangement of nuclear spins. Information is recorded in the nucleus during the change of spins. At the same time, entangled quantum states are generated and directed by bioplasma. Then, melanin included in the brain receives these states. Any information received by neuromelanin is perceived as a conscious act for a brain which enables proper functioning. Information recording mechanism has a significant role in transmitting the inborn knowledge through biological structures. When a newborn child is no longer provided with oxygen from the placenta and starts to breathe on their own, the level of oxygen in the arteries increases, suddenly causing oxygen shock and increasing the level of oxygen radicals. This sudden increase of the radicals levels initiates the process of imprinting the present reality in which the newborn child is situated. A similar situation can be noticed as far as the sense of sight is concerned. Melanin in the epithelium of the retina and iris is formed before the birth. The first eye contact after delivery activates the development of free radicals, which register into child's biological system information about the